Tsola Emiko, the Olu of Warri designates, is in the eye of the storm 6 years after his father's demise. He is embroiled in the kingship tussle capable of tearing the kingdom apart. However, the intriguing thing about this crisis that has seen many baying for blood and the kingdom divided into opposing camps is that it played out in the 2015 shortly after his father's death. Then, as it is happening now, the Debonian prince wanted to succeed his late father, Atuashe II, but couldn't. He was disqualified not on health grounds, but for the sheer fact that his mother was not an Ishekiri or Benin woman. His mother is Yoruba. The chieftaincy and traditional edict of the 1979 stipulates that the mother of an Olu must either be a Shekiri or Benin woman. And the 37-year-old prince, who was 31 at the time, accepted his fate in good faith. In good faith, certainly. However, 6 years after, in what seems like a deja vu, the Olu designate is being haunted by the same demons that stood on his way to succeeding his late father. But he's not going to bow to those demons. This time, the gods have spoken through the Ifa oracle and allegedly designated him Olu, but some high-wired mortals are kicking against it. He's facing stiff opposition from many in the kingdom, including the Ologboshere of the kingdom, Ayere Emane, who reportedly disqualified the Olu designate after he had been chosen by the oracle as the next Olu. According to Emami, the process leading to his selection was not only illegal but fraught with inconsistencies because due process was not followed. Emami says not only was he not carried along in the selection process, his emergence did not follow the stipulations of the chieftaincy and traditional edict of the 1979, which clearly states how the Olu should be selected. You know, we have the 1979 edict, the chieftaincy and traditional edict of the 1979. Section 2 of the edict says if the Olu is indisposed, the Ologboshere will invite the royal family to tell them to get prepared to bring somebody that can be talked to. That is the Ola Ebi or Oloribi. So when the condition is passed, he will now tell them to go and get me a successor that is Olu designate. Tsola happens to be Atuashe's son, who was supposed to be the king in 2015, but he was disqualified because of Article Section 4 of the edict in 2015. We now have two sections that are against Tsola that I'm talking about. Section 2, which says succession goes from father to son. If the son is not suitable, it now moves to the brother. If the brother is not suitable, it goes to the uncle. If there's no uncle, it goes to the grandson. If there's no grandson, it goes to other family member where Tsola belongs. So what I'm saying in subject, Tsola to pass through the process. Let me go through the son, the brother, the uncles, if there's any, the grandson, and then it gets to you. You cannot just come and tell me that the oracle disqualifies. I'm the only person and the other 5 chiefs that can take anybody that is picked that passed through this process to the oracle. Emami was quoted to have said in an interview. The Olu Advisory Council, headed by the Ologboshere, also backed up their claim by saying that the Olu designate has earlier been disqualified in 2015 from succeeding his father, the late Olu of Warri, Atuashe II, because his mother is Yoruba. The chieftaincy and traditional edict of 1979 stipulates that the mother of a candidate to the Olu of Warri throne must be an Ishekiri or Edo woman. Emami also stated that of the 7 kingmakers in the kingdom, only 2 were present at the Ode Ishekiri, the ancestral home of the Ishekiri people. I do not support illegality. You don't buy Ishekiri customs and tradition. The throne comes to you. I'm not part of what is going on there. That is illegality, and that is why I'm not there. Out of 7, it was only 2 kingmakers that were there. I'm urging Ishekiris and indeed all Nigerians to remain calm. Ishekiri will announce their king when the time comes. Emami, as the Ologboshere of Warri, will never support illegality in any form. Emami averred. Still, the question is, will the Ishekiri announce a new king different from the one earlier presented? That certainly is not in the cards. And the Olu designate it seems is not ready to allow the stipulations of an edict prevent him from being king. However, the kingship tussle has degenerated to a point where not only are the two opposing camps holding their grounds, it is already tearing the ancient Warri kingdom apart. The tussle has taken the form of musical chairs. Shortly after the Olugbosheri announced the disqualification of the Oludek signet, the Ginuwa ruling house, which produced the Oludek signet, in turn disqualified the Olugbosheri, asking Chief Johnson Atunri Lege, the Iyashere of the kingdom, to take over his duties. According to a historical report, the first Iyashere, who is next in command and the most senior chief, accompanied Ginuwa I from Benin to found the Warri kingdom. Still, Emami is holding his ground, saying that he cannot be disqualified by a ruling family. Majority of the Shekiri people are apparently behind the Oludek signet, who is not only Suve, debonair, urban, and Western educated, but exudes a confidence associated with his blue blood and good breeding, though that confidence is currently being put to the test. However, the kingship tussle has escalated. It almost turned into violence recently when hundreds of protesters, mostly youth, stormed the Olu of Warri Palace located at Ajamimoga Road in South Council in the area of Delta State. The youth, mainly in support of the Olu designate, occupied the palace, bearing placards with the inscription, "We must follow Ifa Oracle. Ishekiri is not your property. We are tired of waiting." And they all rejected the disqualification unanimously. A statement by the regent of Warri Kingdom, Priest Emmanuel Kotiebo, which was read by Prince Toju Emiko, a member of the Ginuwa One ruling house and secretary of the Emiko Descendants Forum, said, "The Ginuwa One ruling house, which is the only ruling house in our land and which has exclusive power to nominate a successor to the throne, has been meeting in the last 3 months after a convocation of bona fide members of the house to nominate a successor to the throne. In the end, Prince Tsola Emiko was picked as the most qualified person to sit on the throne at this time. This was done only after his name was submitted to the ruling house by a majority of the descendants of the last 3 Olus, even in compliance with his vexatious edict of 1979. The edict does not give them such powers. They have no right whatsoever to disqualify any candidate presented to them by the ruling house. Their only prescribed function is to summon the elders and senior officials of the ruling house, and in the presence of the regent, consult the Ifa oracle one last time. This one is going to be intense. Right now, it looks like there is a lot of support for Tsola Emiko. And Tsola himself, most probably in 2015, when he missed being crowned king, most probably he wasn't ready then. He was 31 then. Now he's 37, and he's ready. He's ready to become king. So the oppositions here, it's just one side, because it's actually coming from the Olugbosheri, who an announcement came yesterday that he's been suspended. So meaning that if he's suspended, he doesn't have any further say. He can't lend his voice anymore. But however, Ayere has stated that he's not suspended. He still stands the ground that Emiko cannot be the Olu designate, that due procedure has to be followed. Well, we'll see how all of this plays out. Guys, let's hear your take down below in the comment section. Thank you once again for staying tuned. Please don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe. Till I come your way again with more updates. Bye.